the session today is with our speaker, Mariya Harizanova. Mariya is a dedicated front-end engineer. She made a sharp career pivot in 2021. She specialized in Laravel and email campaigns. She's also proficient in sweepstake promotions and has gained valuable experience working for a Fortune 500 company. She has a commitment to continuous learning, and exploration fuels her ability to deliver exceptional results. She puts a lot of emphasis in end-user interaction, and she's a dynamic and valued asset for the teams she works with. Welcome, Mariya. Thank you very much. I think you're on, yeah. Thank you very much, and we look forward to your session today. Very excited to learn how to animate with GSAP. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Anna, and thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm going to share the screen. Anna, do you mind if you stop sharing? So welcome to the session, and just quickly start sharing my screen. Okay, so today we're gonna explore how animation is gonna change an ordinary website into interactive memorial experience. So from simple CSS transition to advanced GSAP timeline, you will see how the motion can guide attention to your website and usability and inject personality into your front-end work. So whenever you're enhancing a button hover or rotating a scroll trigger, we will walk through and how the animation matters and how to use with intentions. So for those who doesn't know, we're going to start first with the what is animation. And animation is a bring elements to life, smoothly changing their style over time. And we can use keyframes and not necessarily JavaScript. In this case, we have a little bit of limitations, but we can talk about later. We also can use the transitions and subtle hover effects, and we respect user preferences. So we also gonna use a prefer reduce motions. As we know, ADA compliance currently is very in demand. We gotta make sure that we give the users with a screen readers or screen motion disability to able to disable that on their site. So is that being said, I'm gonna make a quick demo. So for example, we're gonna go to the accessibility, and we're gonna go to the display. So currently reduce motion and off on my end, and if we go and see this, we're gonna have this animation button. So currently we do have this button, which is sliding left to right, and just for a second, yes. So on hover, the button is sliding left and right, and this is set up on our end, on our code. But for example, the user do not want their motion to be present because of disability or anything they want. So they can click at this on their end, and we can literally see that the button stop, because, and how it does work is because we add this script, we add line 94 media preference reduce motion reduce. So if you want to grow in ADA, if you want your site to be more accessibility, make sure that you give the user a choice. Make sure that you enable the reduce motion. And a little bit of CSS, as you know, that we're having keyframes, and we're having the animation slide in. So how is it working? Slide in, it's the class which we're targeting in a keyframe, and animation is the property. This is a pure CSS. We are not using any framework. And here the keyframe slide in is started from and to, and it's showing the transformation. So for example, the way how we're having a button was sliding in, And we can do also sliding in from the minus 100%. Okay. I have to turn the reduce motion on. Okay. And we can see that the button is sliding from the left to right. So this is the basic CSS. We're having a keyframes, we're having hover effects, we're having bounce. And yeah, this is a little bit a small example. Also, for example, if we want to change the slide-in effect, we want to use a gradient border. So we're going to turn on this one. Okay, so we gotta make sure the class is always matching. So no matter what class you're targeting, you gotta make sure the class is always matching. Okay. Okay, so what I'm missing here, it is this one. Okay. Yeah. So here we're having the hover and we're having the border. So yeah, every time when we wanted to add a custom keyframe, we gotta make sure the class is matching. I don't want to gonna spend a lot of time for this because this is just the basic of the CSS animation. As I said, we're gonna talk about opacity and we have a position and yes. So everybody knows that we're having also a few limitations, but the walkthrough it's going to be later on. The CSS animation properties are very important. We're having the name, we're having the duration, we're having the we can delay the start of each animation, repeat. One import, it's a fill mode is decided to whenever your final style or after the animation ends. And lastly, we're having the play state. We can pause. All those together give you full control over how a button or any DOM element can look. And yeah, this is absolutely very powerful, but in this point, a little bit not enough. So as I said, we're having the limitations. So if we're having a complex sequences, CSS animation are great for simple effects, but they do have some sites. For example, when we want to more advance it, there also are a lack of interactivity. There are no timeline control, performance. Sometimes you can see how the animation is looking chubby or it's loading slow. It's very difficult for debugging because if you use just a vanilla JavaScript, it's looking very, the code can go to spaghetti code. So here come the library like a GSAP, give us a precision and interactivity and control that CSS alone just cannot provide to us. And please drop in the chat if you're ever familiar with GSAP. So GSAP, it's standing for a green stock animation. And some of the biggest clients are like a Meta, Samsung, Udemy, Google, Walt Disney. Think of the superhero of the web animation is a JavaScript library. It's a lightweight and likely CSS. GSAP give you a total control of your CSS animation. You can pause, reverse, or scrub. It's trusted by many companies. It's been around maybe around 12 years. And back installation, it's absolutely very easy. We're gonna go quickly to their documentation as well. As we usually use NPM packages, just for a second. As we usually use NPM packages, or we use a CDN or a yarn, it's very easy to install. And my demo today, which I have, I'm using the CDN link because I'm just using a simple index file. And we're going to talk about the path. Before we move forward, back in the days, GSAP used a twin light. They use a twin max, a timeline light. So developer actually needed to make a choice which one they have to use. Some of them it's more lightweight, some of them it's more advanced. And that's why behind the scenes, the team of GSAP create a GSAP 3, the current version. Eventually, they decide that it's going to become into a modern simplified library, and you're going to be able to find absolutely everything in a module. You no longer need to decide which you have to use because GSAP it's combined and will be provide you everything. The GSAP motto also it's animate anything. So anything on your page, any DOM element, it will be able to be animated. And the core, one of the more important items is a GSAP object. It's the heart of the animation because think of is like a command center. Is your access point to everything you're animating on a page. You used to create animation with GSAP 2, GSAP from, but it does more just more things around, is give you the control of it. Also, anything you're working with GSAP, you're talking about is the object. It's a clean, simple, and incredible powerful. The GSAP object has these three methods. We're going to talk about them right now, GSAP 2, GSAP from, and GSAP from 2. To be able to understand them, I'm going to give you a quick demo. So we're going to talk about the object, and we're going to talk about the, So in this demo, we are having our pink monster. Okay, so on reloading, you can see that it's coming to place in the center, and here is the code to it. So we're having an image with a class image monster and the asset. How you defined, for example, how you defined a GSAP is you're starting with a GSAP 2, and you're gonna wrap it in a function. You're gonna target the class. You can target also ID. In this class, in this time, our name is a monster, right? You can use any name. Okay, and we can wrap it in our object properties, and we can target, for example, we can target a duration. It can be 1. We can target also a scale. So we're gonna change the size of it. Can be as well, say for example, 3.5. Also, we can do from where it can start it. It can be from Y. It can be from 350, and can be X from 600. Okay, and now let's see how is our pink monster doing. Something is not working quite right. Let's take a look. So
the duration worked.
Oh, that's right. Misspelling here. I don't think it's the duration. Duration. Let's take a look here to place it more together like that. Duration, scale, monster, GSAP 2. Okay, yes, this is a big mistake here. So usually when you think a class or ID, you gotta make sure that you use it's in this case we're using a class. So yes, so you can see that we add some properties to our object. So what we have here, we're using a GSAP 2, which is the method. We are target, that's our target. The monster class is our target, and we're having all this property. This can extend more. You can add a yo-yo. You can add a scale, opacity if you add more of the classes. So yeah, this is our Blinko. It's yeah, super clean. Just a few code line, and we accomplished something very interactive. So we just I just show you the GSAP 2. In the twin is actually the combine between what we just look, the objects in the class and the methods. So that is a twin, and we can have a multiple twins. We can have other parameters. We can have any target properties. We can use bounce, pause, repeat, stagger. I have a demo for it as well. So twin can change a multiple property of the single objects. And for example, in this demo, which I'm going to make here, is we're gonna use from. Okay, so we're targeting again our class monster. We're targeting and we're starting from x700 and opacity 0, and we're having opacity 1, and we're going on x400. What does that mean is we are fully in control from where our blink was starting and where it's ending. So for example, I can change the opacity. It can be present, but that's it's not going to be so interactive. So here we are constantly seeing from where it's coming. So if we add it to 0, it's giving this opacity effect. So basically what we do is we can target where we are going, which direction we're using, and where we're ending in our shape. How powerful is this? We're having power over how we're going to end. With CSS, this is almost impossible. And it's very hard. You will have to spend a lot of time debugging or a lot of code lines. Okay, so twin, we talk about it, change multiple properties on one single object. And this is super interesting. We are talking about single twin can change multiple properties. Then we're going to talk about a stagger. So stagger, it's unlocking one of the most powerful features. Let's offset start time with animation across the multiple elements, and you can target multiple elements with a delay. It's make a group of them dynamic and alive, and each of them it's a 0.2 seconds and center even randomly. You also can stagger and start and end, and can be from the bottom, from the top offset. And yes, in this demo, we're going to talk about the stagger. So we're having, again, multiple images. Okay, so in this demo, what we see here is if anybody can say what they're actually seeing. We're seeing opacity and we're seeing a stagger and multiple images delaying at the same time. This is absolutely very powerful, and I'm going to walk you through the code. So basically, we're having this container, monster container class, and we are having the images. And we are using GSAP 2 timeline as when methods, duration 1, and X, they're coming from the right, opacity 0. We can do actually, let's do minus 100. Let's see where that's going to take us. That's very, very interesting. How about we do? Yeah, so this is absolutely very powerful. You have just a few lines of code. Stagger, it's must known and must have, and it's a very interesting. The trick here is the stagger 0.3. We can also increase to 0.7. And you can see more slowly how is it delay and the opacity we're using. Yeah, we're using also easy pop, the opacity stagger 0, scale. Maybe we can add a little bit of scale. So let's see how that's gonna look. So once they're slowing down, opacity is there enlarging. We can do any effects. I'm very excited for it. So yeah, Stagger, it's a must-have, and it's a very popular. Next one, which we're going to talk about it, is special property easy. So easy visualization, it's one of the tools which GSAP built for us developers, making the developing more smooth and understanding what actually we need to use as a property. I'm going to go to their documentation and making sure that you're understanding what I'm trying to share with you. The side effect is when you're sharing a screen, it's you having so many open windows. So okay. So about the visualization in the tool, when you go to the GSAP documentation, you just need to find out their visualization tool, which is going to help you let's see if we're able to find it. Go to their tools. So maybe we should Google easy, and it's gonna display to us easing. Okay, so here's the visualization tool. So they have a pre-built properties, and how you can test it is you can choose any of them. So you can do in and out. First of all, let's start with none. So the none, it's straightforward. You're not going to see any border radius or any curve. They pre-built power in and out. So anytime when you want to create any scroll trigger or you want to animate a card, you can go to visualization and test it. This is a very powerful tool. As long as you learn how to use it, you can create amazing stuff. I'm going to post this actually in a channel. And okay, so this is the visualization. Yeah, make sure that you experimented learning how to use it because it's very useful, and just experiment it. So whenever you want a motion to feel more natural or polish, easy is the secret sauce for it. GSAP give you tons of pre-built easy power in and out, or even custom ones. You can preview them using also the easy visualization. Also, if you go to any animation, for example, we can inspect the elements. Let's find out. Do we have ink? Okay, so if you go back to the animation, you can click here in the easy, and it's gonna pop up the tool for us. So basically you can modify and test it how it's gonna look for you on your end. This is very powerful. It's take a time to understand how does it work. But once you learn it, it's very good. And now we're gonna move to the, just for a second again. Now we're gonna move to our next topic, which is a walking special property, like the stagger, we talk about it. We're gonna talk about the GSAP timeline. So the GSAP timeline is talk about the important future animated playlist, but much smarter. Instead, trigger each twin separately. with the timeline, you can have control of them. Using the GSAP, you can build a complex animation and clean, more organize it with the timeline. And we're gonna have a little bit of demo. So on this demo, I'm going to show you how we can control. So we are having a Blinko again. This time we're having a name. And this is our pink monster. And we're having the, we are gonna make a visualization that the Blinko is jumping out of a hole. So in our HTML, we're having a wrapper, and we're having a class of hole, which we are targeting with a position absolute and black color just for more usability. And now when we click on live, we're gonna see that just for a second. Okay, on reload, our Blinko is jumping out of the hole, and that is just with 3 lines of code. How is that working? And then we're gonna go into it. So we are using the timeline here in purpose of coming the timeline when it's manipulating that we having the timeline, we are defining the function, and we're having the whole class which we're using. Also, we're starting from scale to 0, so from small. We are repeating once, and it's true, that is gonna repeat. From to Blinko, it's our, I'm gonna go to, okay. From Blinko, it's our monster. It's starting from 110, and on the end, it's coming to 175, so it's hiding. And the Blinko, it's having a 0 in easy in power. So let's go back and take a look. So our first state is we're having Blinko, and the hole it's hiding on each reload when hit on minus 175. Please let me know if you have any questions. So here the timeline, it's first we animate the hole in and out using repeat in yo-yo. It gives some squishy life. Then Blinko jumps out of the wall. It's kind of an interaction, hard to coordinate just with the CSS, but with the GSAP, you can have actually control over the time which it's passing by. So it's a simple example, but very easy to understand what we can build with a timeline. And we're gonna move to, yes, so I just make the demo. We're gonna move to the plugins, which are very powerful and the best part of GSAP. Currently, there was an announcement, I think a week ago, that all the plugins gonna be free for use, even for commercial use. The best part, those core plugins, including Scroll Trigger, Text plugin, Draw SVG, and more, and now they're absolutely completely free. From animating text to scrolling trigger. Let's go over a few of them. And we're going to talk about also a virtual heads. It's next. So the plugins are very easy to add to any sites. You just have to go to GSAP. Documentation. Always when I start learning something new, I always go to the direct official documentations. I know some of you like to jump into straight to the tutorials on YouTube, look any kind of resources and skip completely the official rules and the official documentations. But I believe this is the best place. So they're having, so we're gonna start with what is a plugin. So as I mentioned, they are absolutely available, and most popular of them are a scroll trigger animation, a drawing SVG, type writing. So for example, in the example which I'm going to make right now, we're gonna use a text plugin. Okay, so every time when I hover, the text is crumble. So this is the plugin which we are using, text GSAP test. So we're gonna go over the code as well. So basically, I have a random text, and here is the plugin which we are using, GSAP. We're gonna grab the element by ID, and we're gonna have, again, we're using a map function in this loop. We're not using so much like a scroll or twin line or timeline, but this is the plugin which we're using, and it's super popular. Next on our list to talk about is how to choose which one the best to use. Of course, the best is you to experiment and make sure that you take the time to learn each of them. Moving to the plugins, I think first you need to know the basics. The basics, currently they having a free course, if you post the links which I share with you. So they having a free course with, I think, more than over 20 intro classes. What is a timeline? What is a tween? What is an object? Once you move above that, you will be able to share and learn more about the plugins and make everything more effortless. I also myself discover a very interesting open source plugin for scroll trigger. I'm gonna share also in the chat with everyone. So this is built. I'm not so sure why it's not. Maybe I need to close. Something is not loading. Yeah, so this is also a different plugin from GSAP, but it's very nice for using if you want to master your scroll trigger. I'm gonna post it in the chat for everyone as well to have it. And so this is about the plugins. We're also gonna talk about a virtual playhead. Please drop in the chat if you know what is a virtual playhead. So think like a remote control for your animation timeline, likely regular animation that learn to start to finish. GSAP let you scrub. So what does scrub mean? Scrub mean is you having a ability to reverse, to jump, to tote your DOM elements when to stop or when to flip, bounce, and you're controlling it. It's not start to bottom. This is super useful when you want full control over how things move in the page. Instead of letting animation from to run to start to finish, we are controlling the timeline, which we just mentioned. So when the GSAP give you here is not just animation, it's a full control of and authority of your site. So it's not just triggering the animation, it's directing them in a move editor. What is the real power of the virtual playhead? We're gonna go right now to a demo. So we're having a couple of buttons and we are going to use the timeline, play, pause, reverse, and seek, and progress. So we're having our twin and we are targeting the box, which is wrapping our buttons. We have a duration of 2x of 300 and rotation of 360, and it's changing even the color. So okay, so if we click on play, our box, it's rolling, and we use the rotation 360 for it. So for example, we click again, reverse, and pause. So what is this virtual head doing for us? It's giving us the full control over the DOM elements with very, very minimal code. Go back to 50, reverse, pause. This demo, it's showing us that we are in control, in control, what this element is going to do, where it's going to go, and how it's going to look like. Yeah, so just with a few lines of code. So for example, we can change it also. Let's make it 400. Yeah, we just change a one property and boom, we are completely in control over this box. We know any time where we'll be positioning. Of course, we have to have understanding of the Y and X, what is more proper use, and how to use it. I have a personal demo to make for you. So for the last couple of weeks, I start working on a camping app, and I said, okay, so I just want you to build something with which I learn. I'm a passion regarding a quasar. So for those who doesn't know what is a quasar, quasar is also a Vue.js frontend framework. So let's start it. Mm. Quasar dev, or did I misspell it wrong?
I think you're typing class. Yeah.
Yeah, Quasar diff. Let me check. Maybe that was not the command because just for a second.
I think yeah. Oh, okay. So that is suggesting npx.
No, it's not npx. Quasar diff. It is. So I must be misspelled it or something. That was interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that was tricky. So the Quasar campsite, which I created, it's built in mainly in components, and you're going to be able to see the interactions. So when we reload, okay, so you see how I use the text plugin for my main H1 tag. I also have the timeline for the stars. So here we're using a timeline and a stagger, the way how the monsters was appearing up and down. So here is the also watch file. This is actually shared by Violina. She told me that she used it for her work. Watch files, it's animation, but we are talking today about GSAP. I can show you a little bit. So on the scroll, I also add the plugin which I share with you regarding the scroll trigger to give a more smooth and more interactive. So in each hover, we're gonna see the squirrels popping out. And if you click on the read more, you're going to see a module. So it's very simple and very straightforward. I just playing around with the timeline, with the tween, with the stagger, just to understand. I also learned about Quasar. In the back, you are able to see the interactions with the stars. I actually don't want to take a credit for the stars. They was available online, and I just took them right away. But I'm willing to share with you the code repo. If you notice, we're having the fire essential worm. This is starting only to the first few words, and you can see the rest of them to learn. I use a Splash API to generate a few of the images, and mostly, but not lastly, when you're ready, you can pack your van and you can go on your vacation. I'm using a parallax effect, which is a very popular as well. And this is the camping site which I'm using. I have been working on it. Also, what I wanted to share with everybody, like a demo, is this is for someone who inspired me, and they have incredible work. Let's see if it's loads. So yeah, so I just want to give you a quick intro. My main repo, which I'm using, is using Node.js 16. So when you have to use a version, and just for a second, when you have to use a version higher than Node 16, I don't want to install it directly to my repo, and the reason is globally I'm working with other projects, and I don't want to use force my coworkers or repo to change their completely. So in this case, I'm going to use the nvm package, and I'm going to use Yep. So now we're going to use and we're going to be able to. This site is built by GSAP as well, and they're practicing a timeline. You're going to see the spinner. You're going to see how it's loading the numbers. And this is built just by GSAP. And we're going to go quickly over the code. So basically, we're having the index HTML where we're having the loader, which we see the spinner. We have the intro logo and the words kind with the divider in between. And we have the counter container hero mirror image. This is just a so small, like a code-wise HTML. And when we go to the script, we're going to see that we are importing. So currently in this case, it's a node package, npm package install. So you can import a GSAP. Previous demo, there was a CDN. So you can use the custom easy, which I showed you, the easy in visualization you can use. You can import it, and you're adding the event listener for the documents for the document elements when they start loading. You have the count, you have the digits, you have control everything, and the timeline we just talked about today. You can time when the numbers can be displayed, in duration and delay. So what we talk about today, this is actually the core. We talk about the divider. We're talking about the timeline. We talk about the tween, the object, and the timeline and the stagger. So before you move to your next chapter and you want to advance the animation, you have to learn this 4 must-have. Yeah, so I'm gonna again reload, and we're gonna see how beautiful is this design. Of course, there is a poly. I always have a hard time pronouncing this. So there is a polygene clip path which you can use for the main background image, and that's how you're giving this effect on the ends. Also, one more tip, which GSAP, it's a very popular, and they are GUI effects. Have you ever used a GUI? And are you familiar with GUI effects? I'm going to make a quick, so GUI effect is like looking like dropping, like your button can drip or can show you a drop. So just a quick demo on this one. Okay, so GUI, it's using the SVG classes, and I can share more information how to use a SVG. So basically on the hover, on the mouse hover, you're gonna see this effect. This is a GUI effect. This is advanced CSS animation. Of course, if you want to move through it, you have to first pass the beginner level. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you for me. Thank you for your patience. I know that sharing slides back to forward can be challenging sometimes. It's a lot, but I appreciate your time and your patience with me. If there is any questions, please
Thank
unmute
you,
yourself.
Mariya.
Thank you, Anna.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. My question is like all of these amazing things that you've kind of built. Um, do you,
Mhm.
because I noticed you use a lot of JavaScript, but in your introduction it mentioned Laravel. So like do you marry both of them together, like the Laravel and the JavaScript? And can we use GSAP with React? So I'm just like
Mhm.
trying to get like a sense
Mhm.
of because my own
Mhm.
tech stack is mainly like JavaScript, React, and all of that. So can I
Mhm.
use this with it, or it's mainly vanilla JavaScript?
Yeah, this is a great question. So basically, GSAP is a JavaScript library. You can use it in React, you can use it in Vue, you can use it in Angular. The way how they are building it is you using the three methods which I share, to, from, in the timeline. You have no restrictions. So if we go back to the and that's a great question. I know that can be a little bit confusing, and you can think, oh my God, but that isn't for me. GSAP actually their favorite is React because they have a lot of plugins just for React. Let's go in. They have a special section where and how you can install and use it on your React project. And you can use it as a hook. Yeah, I'm not a React developer. I'm a Vue, and I use Laravel. But yeah, you can use also React, and you don't have to use only vanilla JavaScript. Just for more understanding and for beginner friendly for everyone, I use the vanilla. Thank you for your question. Anybody else has questions? I can post this one in the chat. Anybody is an animation developer, or they're advanced, where they're standing?
We have some questions from the chat.
Mm-hmm.
At the very beginning of the session, Mandy Chan asked, if the animation is really slow, would it be better to use a video instead, such as
Mm-hmm.
transparent video options?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a great question. So I'm going to actually make a demo for this. This is one of the you can use a video. So this is for the GUI. You can use a video, and you can use a timeline. Just for a second, I'm trying to find it the perfect demo where basically they're using a video for their animation. Yeah, I think it's this one. And actually the person here it's mentioning, okay, so here on this demo, you can see this is a video. I can post this in the chat. So to give a quality to your animation, save time uploading, you can use a video. But the person is here asking if you want to reuse the code to change the video. That's funny. But yeah, do you see how powerful is this? This is on scrolling. This is using again GSAP. I'm gonna post it as a resources so you can go over it. One of the things when I was started working with animation was some of my projects, animation was loading before even the project load. And that was a really side effect. So I was trying to understand what is going on, why the animation is loading so slow. So what I actually did as a approach, I make sure that I add the event listener when the, for example, animation container is load, then I'm going to start the animation.
Mariya, I don't know if you're still on time, if you have to go. There are a few more questions on the chat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do see one of the question is when would you use Linux over GSAP or do you combine them? I actually in the camping app I do combine them. So sometimes I can use I think that the lane is especially dedicated for scroll trigger, right? So I kind of lean on them that they are more advanced to it. That's a great question, but I can combine them. The same thing happened also with the same thing happened also with the Lottie files. So basically, I do not use only GSAP. I'm actually going to share a screen to walk you through regarding the Lottie files. So Lottie files is another it's another advanced animation. So for example, yeah. So they're having a free ones for you. They're having also a pay version. I do use the free version due to I have so many subscription and I'm just not sure do I wanna pay for everything. But yeah, this is the Watchy files. You can just go to the for example to their code and click on the downloads, or you can. So I'm gonna have to go through it. Okay, let's go back to see. You just have to embed the code for basically for the Watchy files. I think I was logging. I don't know why it's not. And this was shared by Violina. She said, "Hey, have you ever heard about Watchy files?" I said, "I have not." So this is what I have been using my dashboard. So basically what you're gonna have to do is you can go to the handoff, you're gonna click on the brackets and you're gonna have to grab your code. So you're having the Dotty player, you copy and paste it on your end and you're having a ready animation. And it's super easy, super nice. They have also a paid version. Yeah. Any more questions? And this one was built also with the GSAP. I use the Watchy files. I use everything what I can. And the reason is I just wanted to experiment.
That's great. I'm gonna take a look at Lottie as well. That seems great.
Yeah.
Soraya asked, she said she read that GSAP is more convenient on webs than mobile apps because the mobile platforms don't natively support JavaScript VM or the
Yeah.
GSAP API. Is that true?
That's correct, and that's why Violin actually is a mobile developer. She suggests a Watchy file. Watchy file it's more for the mobile native applications. GSAP it's around 12 years ago, and it's supporting strongly the web. Yeah, that's correct. Great catch.
Anya said, when would you use Linux over GSAP? Oh, so you responded to that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's